We should have known this was going to happen. If there's anything this series has taught us in particular, it's that we don't know what's going to happen. So you got to predict the unpredictable. And the Clippers going in 3-2 down after Luka just dropped 42 in the last game, you would have thought that normally that's a recipe for probably a loss. But based off what we'd seen earlier in the series with the Clippers going down 2-0, then them winning 2 in a row, then the Mavericks winning, and then the Clippers coming in to the Mavericks arena, down 3-2, elimination on the line. You should have just known they were going to win. I predicted them to win based off solely off that. I had no analysis to really say much apart from the fact that we have to predict the unpredictable in this series. So that's exactly what we got in Game 6. We got an unbelievable game in which Kawhi Leonard took over on both ends of the floor. He played like the best player in the world tonight, and he was unbelievable because I thought he was going to take the task of guarding Luka earlier in the series, and when I made a video kind of talking about it, saying that I was a little bit disappointed, some people assumed that I was saying Kawhi's a bad defender when that wasn't really the case. All I was saying was I thought Kawhi would be able to step up and take the challenge of guarding Luka, which in the end he didn't do in the earlier games, but this game he said, elimination on the line, I've got to take the task of guarding Luka, and he did that, and then he dropped 45 points on the other end of the floor, an efficient 45. How many did he drop in the second half? Like over 25 or something ridiculous. He dropped 17 in the third quarter, I believe. He went on several runs by himself, hitting threes, getting to the line, getting to the rim, pull up mid-range shots, pull up step-back threes on Luka, on Dorian Finney-Smith. It didn't matter whose hand was in his face. It was a bucket, regardless. That's what Kawhi Leonard has done his whole playoff career, and he's just showing why he's one of the greatest playoff performers of all time, because that performance was absolutely monstrous. It was just unbelievable. But as I was saying, 18 of 25 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3, took the task of guarding Luka and kept Luka to 11 of 24. He got to 11 of 24. A few of those were layups at the end. In general, he was quelled, and it wasn't just Kawhi, because obviously Luka was looking for switches all the time because no one wants to try and isolate against one of the best defenders of all time on every single possession. So he was looking for switches. But just, I think, having Kawhi in front of his face every single possession, it just threw him off a little bit. You could see his aggressiveness, at least attacking the rim, just wasn't quite the same, because you have to look across from you every single possession. You're walking up the floor, and you know you're not getting any easy buckets with Kawhi in your face. So he didn't really try to take on Kawhi once. He got switches and he got points off that, and he didn't play a terrible game. His passing was great. He made some good reads. In general, Luka played an okay game, a decent game, but Kawhi on the other end played a unbelievable game. A historic level game. It was just unbelievable on both ends of the floor. And his shot making, oh my God, his shot making, some people have said it, but he has no right to be this good at creating off the dribble, considering what he started as. Considering he started as the guy that was tasked with just defending, just going up against Luka, which is what we thought he would do in this series, and he did it when he needed to, but also his shot creation is it's one of the best. He's one of the best shot creators in the league, going from someone who, was just in there to defend, and he did both of those things tonight. I mean, he deserves pretty much most of the credit, but there are other guys that deserve credit. Paul George, for one, he stepped up as well in the fourth quarter, game on the line. He was getting ridiculed earlier in the game because his first 3 quarters weren't good. I don't think they were terrible. Some people were saying, playoff P's back. I don't think he played a terrible first 3 quarters, because I thought he was pretty decent defensively. He was getting in the passing lanes. He was trapping. He was switching. He was making the right decisions defensively. And then offensively, he was making good extra passes. Just in general, he wasn't making his shots, which, again, obviously, if you're a superstar or star-level player, you need to do that. And, you're not playing that well if you're not doing that. But I don't think it was terrible. And then in the fourth quarter, started making shots. The team took a 31-20 fourth quarter lead thing. What am I saying? They won the fourth quarter 31-20. You get the point. And PG was a major reason for that as well, because he stepped up. Another guy who stepped up, Reginald Jackson, former Detroit Piston, came in blazing. He came in absolutely blazing hot in the first quarter. He hit 14 points, 6 of 7, and then a shot that he threw up from half court that counts as a miss. But in general, that was an unbelievable first quarter for Reggie. And in general, he made the right plays, the right decisions. He was solid all around the floor. Defensively, Luka's a mismatch for him. A lot bigger, a lot stronger. a lot better than what Reggie is as a defender offensively, if you know what I mean. He held his own. He wasn't terrible when he was switched onto him. It's not like every single possession Luka got the ball on Reggie, you were like, oh, that's a straight bucket, which is a good thing. And then offensively, he really did his job. Just other guys in general. It was Kawhi. Let's be honest. Like, their bench scored one bucket. Their bench scored 2 points from a combined 15, 26, 36 minutes there from their combined 4 players off the bench. One bucket. Kawhi ended up with 45 points, 3 assists, 18 of 25. He was the guy. Let's not try to make something out of nothing. Let's not pretend like this was some crazy team effort. They played well defensively, and they've figured it out defensively. So we will say that, because earlier in the series, that was the most disappointing thing to me. I know their offense can be stagnant sometimes because as great as Kawhi is, sometimes he's very ISO, well, not sometimes, he is very ISO heavy, which if those shots aren't falling at a rate they were tonight, then sometimes your offense can suffer because guys aren't getting the looks that you would hope. But defensively, you would have expected this team to be great, not just okay, great. And they were not just okay, they were terrible in the first 2 games of the series, which is what I was confused with. They weren't making the right decisions. A lot of that came from Zubac playing too many minutes, getting switched onto Luka, Patrick Beverley as well getting switched onto Luka. Those guys have been thrown out of the rotation. They've slimmed down the rotation. They brought in Mann. They brought in Rondo. Those guys didn't do too much, but they just gave more minutes to Kawhi, more responsibility to PG on the defensive end of the floor. They've started trapping Luka, which is a good decision because although Luka's good at passing out of double teams, you got to make the Mavericks beat you. You got to make the other Mavericks beat you, and tonight they couldn't do it. Tim Hardaway Jr. made some shots, but in the end, going down the line, when Luka was passing out of those double teams late in the fourth quarter, they weren't hitting their shots, and that's what you hope for, and that's what you do defensively, and that's what they game planned for. Just in general, they executed defensively excellently as a team. Ty Lue deserves credit because he's made the right rotations, the right adjustments from a game plan and a personnel sense. So you've got both of those things. Shout out to Ty Lue. Got a lot of stick. I think he deserved some of it in the first 2 games because kind of wondering why Zubac was still playing that many minutes, but he adjusted it and he's made great adjustments, counteracting what the Mavs have been able to do, throwing in the likes of Boban, throwing in the likes of Powell, throwing in these different looks. Clippers have said, okay, we'll match you. We'll continue to go small. We'll go Zubac if we need, but we won't throw him in for too long. We'll get in Terrence Mann. We'll throw these different looks at you and we'll counteract what you're doing. So Ty Lue deserves credit for that, what he's been able to do. And then again, defensively, it was a team effort. Offensively, it was really a one-man show. It was really a one-man show. 45 points in any game, particularly a game where the Mavericks didn't score 100. The Clippers just got over 100 with free throws at the end of the game. It was a low-scoring game. No one was hitting their threes for the Clippers. They had wide-open looks. Kennard had wide-open looks. Morris had wide-open looks. Batum had wide-open looks. None of those guys were able to connect consistently or connect at all. Actually, they were 0 of 10 combined between those 3 guys. And in general, like I said, PG, don't think he had a bad game. Think he was solid on both ends of the floor, but he wasn't electric offensively. Only ended up with 20. Reggie quieted down after the first quarter. So it was up to Kawhi to pretty much backpack the offense for the remainder of the night. For 3 quarters, Kawhi pretty much put the offense on his back. And the last 2 quarters in particular, they were scary. They were scary good how he was able to do that. How he was able to just hit tough shots after tough shots after tough shots. Like, the performance he had was historic. From the Mavs' perspective, again, Tim Hardaway Jr. stepped up. Boban was a different look, made some plays. Porzingis continues to really just not be involved in the offense at all. Luka, as I said, Kawhi did a good job on him. Off the bench, you had Brunson missed a few easy shots. Kleber missed a few easy shots. They weren't terrific as a team, but a lot of this comes down to the Clippers finally realizing their potential as a defensive unit and looking engaged and looking like they're communicated, making the right switches. They're just at a different level defensively, and now they've won 3 of their last 4 games against this Mavericks team. The last game that they lost was a Luka Doncic masterclass. Kawhi also struggled in that game, in which I said, because people said he choked in the last game, I was like, you just don't say that. Like, he's going to be good the next game. Like, I don't understand this need to say, oh, Kawhi choked last game, now he's the greatest player of all time this game. Same thing for Luka will be said last game, greatest player of all time. This game he choked. Let's just let it play out, because we know for a fact Luka is probably going to come back and drop 35 tomorrow or whenever the next game is. Kawhi's going to come back and probably drop 35 as well. They're going to go back and forth, and it's probably going to be a close game in LA in which Don't ask me for my prediction because I have literally no idea. And like I said, just predict the unpredictable. So if the Mavericks blow out the Clippers in Game 7, I wouldn't be surprised. If the Clippers do that, I wouldn't be surprised. All I know is the only thing we've got to go off is if you're a home team, you're in danger. So Clippers fans, that's all I will say. It's not really something that should matter, but it seems to matter a lot in this series. So maybe we can just pick the Mavericks based off that. But if we're going off form, I do think the Clippers are playing like the better team as a whole over the last few games. And with Kawhi doing what he's doing offensively, and with them starting to realize what they can do defensively, them trying to slow down Luka and doing a better job, particularly with Kawhi, the focal point of the defense, I am a little bit concerned about the Mavericks. And yeah, I said that after Luka's last game as well. So I'm not just trying to change up my decision right now. I think this series all along was going to be back and forth. It's going to Game 7, and we're not gonna get carried away. We're not gonna say the Clippers are definitely gonna win. We weren't gonna say the Mavericks were definitely gonna win today because we don't know. It's an unpredictable series in which if Luka goes off for 50, then the Mavericks will probably win. If Kawhi goes off for 50, the Clippers will probably win. My expert analysis on that kind of prediction. That's all I've got to say. If one of them goes off for 50, that team's winning. So yeah, that's what I can guarantee. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel. Have a great day. Catch you next time. Bye.